that would greatly hamper our central purpose.
Is there a maximum stay time here?
No, there isn't. We do have rules and regulations. We have our own in-house security, and so as long as a person behaves and follows the rules, then they're able to stay.
Do they have to leave in the morning, and if they do, what time?
They do not have to leave. We do have day rooms, one for the ladies and one for the men. And also we have an in-house program. We have an in-house discipleship program for long-term help, those who really want to change. And that's what we recommend for everyone. However, most of the people elect to stay in the transient overnight type program.
Right.
And but there is a wake-up time. And so many of them elect to leave when they're woken up, because a few of them have jobs, or some of them have appointments, others sell newspapers and so forth, but that's all up to them. But they know the rules, because prior to breakfast, prior to lunch, and prior to dinner, there is a service.
Right.
And so those that are regulars, they know that they have to show up for those services in order to get our services.
Right.
And of course, between the services, like during the morning hours and during the afternoon hours, those who want to use our clinic or to receive issues of clothing or want to go to the barber shop or whatever, they have to stick around and sign up in order to receive those services.
And going on to that, is there a curfew?
There is a curfew for those who are regular. They have to be in by 8. And of course, those who are working, they can have permits to come in later.
Mm-hmm.
They have work permits. Yeah. And and then of course, those who are coming for the first time, that wouldn't apply to them because
Mm-hmm.
because they are first timers.
Yeah. Okay. Number 10.
Is there a separate area for families?
Usually, by the time people reach us, it's no longer a family, as you and I know it. We see very few families where there's a mom, a dad, and children. Generally speaking, my observation is that it's usually, as long as a family can remain a unit, somehow they manage to make it somehow.
And are there, how many classes a day do the people have, and do they have them every day?
They do have them every day, and they're services, they're gospel services.
Okay.
So are there children?
The only children we have come with their moms.
Got it, okay.
Okay.
There are children. We do have children, but the children come with the mothers. Every once in a while you may get a father with a child or two, but it's usually mom.
How many people work here?
I don't think I want to discuss that with you. As far as our staff is concerned, we have a sizable staff, but we also have an in-house discipleship program, those who are here for long-term help, and so we harvest all that labor as well.
What percentage of people who stay here get back on their feet?
You know, I really couldn't give you that as a statistic, because we don't keep that kind of record. That's not what we do. There are many things that are good ideas, but you know, you have to consider the bottom line when you operate out of the widow's mite. You have to consider the bottom line, and so you just I don't know. I can tell you that that I was brought here 35 years ago. I was a homeless person, and I was my number one problem. I was a rebel. I didn't listen to good parents, and I think that I had that in common with many, if not most, of the residents that we see today. There's a rebellious spirit. Many of the people that are displaced are not willing, for the most part, to submit to authority. They really don't like rules, and so this might benefit you, young men. You want to listen up, okay? You might want to listen up real good, because I had a good mom and dad, and but I was a rebel. I thought I knew better than my parents. And so, as a young boy, I started smoking cigarettes, and pretty soon it was, a little bit of whiskey, and pretty soon it was a little bit of marijuana, and I trashed my life. And had it not been for the prayers of my mom, in particular, I believe I'd be in hell now. I was 30 years of age when I came to Pacific Garden Mission. I'm 65 now. And when I came, I was homeless. I had nothing whatsoever, not even identification. I was irresponsible, I was profane, I was a blame shifter, and I was a drug addict. But I received Christ. Thank God for the mission. I received Christ as my Savior, and I went through the long-term program. And I started studying the Word, and got into church, and embraced, finally, authority. And I embraced structure and discipline. And the mission offered me an entry-level job. And I went to work for the mission. This was way back in 1979. And it wasn't long after that I was praying for a wife, and God brought me a wife. I've been married now for over 33 years.
Wow.
That's my beautiful wife. And that's our prayer. That's our prayer for everybody who comes through the doors. Is we're not just here to hand out food. We're not a social organization. We're not just here to hand out food and clothing and all these other things, because you can't give a person dignity. You can't give a person credibility. You have to earn that. And that's the one message that's very difficult for us to get across. So many people anymore in our society, and that's not just here at Pacific Garden Mission, but that's all over our nation. So many people want to stand with their hand out, and they want someone else to, quote unquote, afford them a living. But the sad part about that is, no matter what anybody gives you, they can't give you self-respect. And that's the message that I think that, and especially as a nation, I just would like to see us place a little bit more emphasis on that aspect of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. I know. It makes me teary. Wow.
Okay,